Hey guys, Alex here. We have another video with Alex Yala and what happened because WTA went in panic at Alex practice session. So it happened something outstanding. The crowd at a practice session. Imagine what's going to happen to the actual game. So it's going to be really insane. If you're new, welcome. Like I was saying, like the video, subscribe if you want to do that. A lot of other videos, I'm going to leave at the end some cards with Alex as well at my first reaction. She has a new warrior over here that's going to stand for her, and let's hope to win. Anyways, until then, let's go and watch this.
João Fonseca and Alex Ayala, are we going to see them only on center court out there?
Yes.
We're going to need them on center court because they have so many fans worldwide.
We're going to need them to be on center court because they have so many fans worldwide. And
those words came from James Blake on March 15th, 2026, and they were about Alex Ayala, a 20-year-old who is not even inside the WTA top 10. Viral reports claimed her Miami practice created the kind of chaos reserved for championship day. But the real story is even stronger than the clickbait.
And Yala, it's been quite a thrill ride for her this last year as well. I feel like
10 days earlier in Indian Wells, a simple practice session had already forced the sport to confront what was coming. This was not happening in a vacuum.
I have the reaction
Yala
on that.
arrived in Miami as the player who had just stunned Coco Gauff at Indian Wells and walked in as world number 29, carrying momentum the entire tennis world had already felt. From March 5th to March 7th, fans packed her Indian Wells practice so tightly that officials moved the session to Stadium Court 8, turning training into a live event. The audience had just watched her surge through the desert, and by March 15th, Miami Open leadership was making decisions around that fan wave, not around old assumptions. And if you were one of the people who saw those Indian Wells practice scenes and understood they meant something bigger, this channel is your section of the stadium. Subscribe and stand with the fans who identified the shift before the rest of the tennis world finished adjusting. Here is the conflict, and it cuts straight into how this sport usually operates. Tennis scheduling has always protected hierarchy. Top 10 names get the premier courts, the prime visibility, the treatment reserved for certified stars. On paper, that logic makes sense. Tournament directors are supposed to reward ranking, reputation, and commercial safety. But Alex Ayala arrived with something more disruptive than a ranking line. She arrived with demand. When a non-match practice draws hundreds, when standard courts cannot contain the crowd, when fans spill toward fences and railings just to watch a player hit routine balls, the old system starts looking outdated. And while the loudest YouTube headlines use the words panic and outsold the finals, the verified reality is already dramatic enough. Officials had to relocate her practice in Indian Wells, and Miami's own director decided center court was the only sane answer. That is the story, not rebellion from the WTA, not scandal, something more powerful. Surrender to a new reality. Start in Indian Wells because that is where the illusion of normal disappeared. Videos posted by reporters including Diane Castillejo and TJ Manitok showed what happened between March 5th and March 7th. Fans swarming Alex Ayala's practice environment until the session had to be shifted to Stadium Court 8. Read that again for what it means. Practice was no longer being treated as background noise. It had become a destination. Witnesses did not describe a polite handful of onlookers. They described hundreds. They described movement, overflow, a kind of energy more common around match entrances than training blocks. The crowd did not wait for a scoreboard to matter. They made the moment matter first, and that matters because of who was nearby. Front office sports and social reporting around the grounds pointed to Ayala's session drawing more attention than practices involving established men's stars on adjacent courts, including names such as Alexander Zverev and Taylor Fritz. Put yourself in the tournament's position. You build your daily flow around proven attractions, then a 20-year-old Filipina starts pulling eyes away from players who have spent years occupying the sport's premium real estate.
Do you feel proud? Because I do, even if I'm not a Filipino. I want to become one. I don't even know how to say it. Man, this is so beautiful. I mean, like this guy in the video said, yeah, you know, the best tennis player, the top 10 is going to be there, blah, blah, blah. And she came. And she's like, what? Yeah, I just want to play my game. But, you know, I'm a Filipina. So behind me, it's a country like no other. Beautiful.
That is not a cute side story. That is market correction in public. The pattern sharpened when the results caught up to the noise. At Indian Wells, Ela did not show up as a fan favorite who needed protection from reality. She beat Diana Yastremska 7-5, 4-6, 7-5. Then she took down Coco Gauff 6-2, 2-0, retired. Monday, the crowd was swelling around practice. A few days later, one of the biggest names in American tennis was on the other side of a loss. The audience in those stands was not chasing hype after the fact. They were reading the moment before the rest of the sport finished processing it. That is the part her supporters deserve credit for. The people filling those practice rails were not romanticizing potential. They recognized main stage gravity before the official schedule fully reflected it, and Alla herself understood the scale of what was forming around her. It means the world to have this community behind me, for them to make the effort to stay up late and stay in the cold and cheer me on. That was not a corporate soundbite. That was a player acknowledging that something larger than a tournament run was taking shape. Fans were not simply watching her. They were carrying her. Then came the quote that made the entire story impossible to dismiss. James Blake said, "We're going to need them on center court because they have so many fans worldwide. It might feel like home matches for both of them." Notice the language, not "we might consider it," not "if scheduling allows." We're going to need them on center court. That is institutional recognition. That is the tournament itself admitting that Alex Ela's following has outgrown the side court model. The viral Miami claims about a practice outselling the finals remain unverified, and they do not need to be true to make the larger point. By the time those videos and headlines were circulating, the official sport had already confirmed the core reality. A player outside the usual superstar bracket was commanding superstar treatment because the crowd left no other option. This did not happen once. It happened in Indian Wells. It carried straight into Miami, and now it looks less like a surprise than the clearest pattern of the spring. James Blake is not a random commentator chasing a storyline. He is the Miami Open director, the man responsible for court placement, scheduling weight, and tournament presentation. He is also a former world number 4, someone who understands exactly what star power looks like from inside the sport, not from a distance. So when Blake effectively says Ela belongs on center court because of the size of her worldwide following, that judgment carries institutional authority and elite player credibility at the same time.
And I want to add something. Not all, she belongs on the center court, not because only of the following of us of Filipinos, but because she deserves it for her talent, for her hard work. And now it's number 28, 29, right? I'm going to like really, really, really cheer. I'm not saying number 1, but at least, you know, top 3. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. It's going to be like, I don't know, a good luck for her because I'm going to watch every single game, guys.
The gatekeeper looked at the crowd math, looked at the atmosphere, and decided the event had to move around her. That is how a people's champion becomes a tournament priority. Now widen the frame. What Miami is signaling is not merely that Alex Ela is popular. It is that tennis is being reminded that audience force can move faster than rankings. If her Miami matches feel like home dates again, that pressure does not disappear when the Sunshine Swing ends. It follows her into Charleston, into Madrid, and then toward Roland Garros, where every packed outer court becomes an argument for bigger stages. A defensible prediction sits right in front of us. If Ela strings together another headline win in Miami, tournament planners on the clay swing will stop treating her as a developing curiosity and start treating her as appointment viewing. The schedule is learning a new rule. When Alex Ela is on site, the crowd arrives early. Of course, this rise is not polished into perfection. Her Indian Wells run ended with a hard lesson against Linda Noskova 6-2, 6-0. That kind of score can shrink a player if the moment was only built on adrenaline. Ila answered differently. I never expected this kind of support. And elsewhere, she made clear what that support means to her. To be Filipino is something I take so much pride in. I'm so grateful they made me feel like I'm home.
Good.
After the bagel set, she did not hide from the stage. She walked straight toward the next one, Stadium Court 8, the Goff upset. Hundreds gathering for practice. James Blake moving the conversation from possibility to center court necessity. Piece by piece, the message became impossible to ignore. Alex Ila has reached the point where fan power is no longer trailing her results. It is amplifying them, accelerating them, and forcing the sport to reorganize around her presence. What you just watched is the moment a rising player stopped feeling like a future story and started dictating the present one. So here is the question. When Miami gives Iala that home match atmosphere Blake promised, does she turn this tournament into another statement run? Or does the weight of all this attention create her toughest test yet? And if you were one of the people who saw those Indian Wells practice scenes and understood they meant something bigger, this channel is your section of the stadium. Subscribe and stand with the fans who identified the shift before the rest of the tennis world finished adjusting. The next chapter,
That was a good
Miami,
question over
the
there.
clay swing, and every crowd that follows her there belongs to the people paying attention right now.
Next up, Miami. Like I was saying, I'm going to cheer for her. The question was really good. So how she's going to be is not easy with all that pressure on you because, you know, you can feel the pressure of the audience and the people who loves you. Or the important thing is that she will have to know that whatever is going to happen, we are proud of her. Doesn't matter. You know, it's not like if she loses, we're going to be like, no. This is the most important thing. That's why I was saying that it's really important to understand not only the pressure, the weight. She's really young. It's not easy, especially being over there with big players. You know, big players. I'm telling because on the top 10, whatever. And at the beginning, of course, you feel like an outsider a little bit, but you know, she's a Filipino. And she knows that struggling, it's part of her DNA. And succeed, it's part of her DNA. So, and that's the thing, and resilience, that's the thing that I most admire about the Philippines. And yeah, guys, cheer for her, of course. Say it down below in the comments. Let me know what you think, of course, about this. We're going to have more Alex Ila on the channel, following a little bit her journey. I hope you enjoy it. And let me know what we should see next down below. If you didn't saw my first video on her, I'm going to leave it right here. Go and check that out. And yeah, go Alex. And until next time, stay safe.